What's up, everybody? Renfail here, back again with another World of Warcraft guide, and today we're doing a request video, or I should say I'm answering someone's request, because during one of our recent streams I had some guild members asking if I could put together a looking for dungeon finder matchmaking overview video for new players, and I went, that's actually a brilliant idea because I haven't done that yet. So without further ado, we're going to be diving into this today. If you're new here, this is the perfect opportunity for me to say like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. You can join us. We are on the Moonguard server. All you got to do is hit me up directly in Discord, send me a tell, and I'll get you an invite to the guild Discord. You can fill out an application. I stream every morning, 5:30 a.m. Central, and I stream every night, 8 p.m. Central, for a couple of hours, 2 to 3 hours each session, and I do a ton of guides in between here on YouTube. Multi-streaming happens on Twitch as well. Lots of other stuff happens here on the channel. Check out the playlists. Let's dive in to the Dungeon Finder and matchmaking system in World of Warcraft. So the core essential of this is the matchmaking system is a way for you or a friend or up to 4 friends to find other people to group with. You can also use it with a full group of 5, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. The core idea of this is that it's a great way for you to be on your own or with a couple of other people, and you need to find some people to group with you to go do specific content. That's what you can use this tool for. The way it works is it looks for people on your realm and within the realms that are a part of your realms or servers, or within the overall realms in your battle group. So there's a select grouping of servings that make up your battle group, and it looks for players. So it's cross-server, cross-realm dungeon finding. It's not just locked to your server. As a general rule, you're going to find groups pretty quickly. But that's something to think about. It is cross realm. It's not just you. It's also cross faction these days. So you can do people from. It's crazy. Matchmaking has come a long way since we used to have to yell at each other and try to find groups the old-fashioned way, which was not any fun. It is locked to you being level 15. You will get a teaser of it if you run the Exiles Reach starter island. I think it's around level 9. They will have you use the Dungeon Finder to do the end dungeon of that starter island, but it's a one-off thing because normally you have to wait till level 15 to unlock it. Outside of that, the only other caveat is that it is locked to the dungeons of your level range. So if your level as I am at the cap now of level 70 as of this recording. I can only queue for dungeons within the Dragonflight expansion because that's the current expansion as of where I'm playing. If I was playing a time walking campaign and I was in Battle for Azeroth, I would only have Battle for Azeroth dungeons at my disposal. If I was queuing for something else, if I was in a different campaign, I would only have that. So that's something to keep in mind, is that in terms of what you're going to see in here, in terms of which dungeons are available, it is locked to your level bracket or expansion level. So you can't queue for dungeons outside of that. You can go run dungeons anywhere you want in the world with your friends by going to them and manually entering those dungeons. But to use this system, it's current content only, or whatever expansion you're currently doing, if you're doing time walking. To that note, it also scales. So it's an automatic scaling thing. So if I come in and run, let's say you're level 10 and you just entered Battle for Azeroth, and I'm level 59 and I'm finishing up that campaign, it's going to put us in the dungeon and scale it. So it's brilliant. You don't have to worry about levels or anything like that. And same thing with the max levels. You'll notice there's a level range here. There's lots of fireworks happening right there in the background. Or something. It says these ones scale level 60 to 70, whereas these are specifically level 70. So the heroics are going to be level 70 content only, whereas the other ones are going to scale. So I could be going in there with, I'm level 70, but I could be going in there with level 60 characters, and it'll scale the content for us, which is great. It's very similar in a lot of ways to the way Star Wars: The Republic does it, when you're doing like the story missions or the veteran missions on using the matchmaking system there. But that's how it works here in World of Warcraft. So that's essentially the very generic basics of this. We're going to get into the weeds a little bit more with it as we dive in. But to bring this up, all you got to do is hit the I button, Or you can go up here and click the group finder, which is that green eyeball button, and you're going to notice 3 things on the side that you need to pay attention to here. One is the generic dungeon finder, which is you're going to be using mostly. The other one is a raid finder, which we'll talk about at the end. And the other one is if you have a pre-made group that wants to do something very specific. You're looking to do legacy content, custom content, and things of that nature, and that's how you can find other players. At the bottom here, you're also going to find player versus player tab, which I'm not going to get into because I don't do PvP, but it's the same system. And then Mythic Plus Dungeons, which is not for the new players. That's the advanced stuff. So, yeah, we could talk about that at another point in time. We're talking about the beginner's experience for those of you who are new to the game like I am. So, we'll go up to the Dungeon Finder. Now, there are 3 different things you're going to see here. You're going to see a specific dungeon tab, a specific random dungeon tab, and a specific random heroic that you can choose from. Now, depending on your level, it's going to change which options you have available in this. So if you're level 60, you're only going to have whatever dungeons are at that tier. It's like, I think it's 3 dungeons at level 60. And as you progress through the game, you're going to get access to more and more dungeons within the expansion content until finally you get to level 70 and you have all of the dungeons available that are in that expansion. There are caveats to that, however, because certain dungeons have minimums. So if I were to look at the go back to the specifics, sorry here. I've hit all the minimums here for these dungeons, but if I were to go over to the raid finder and use the drop down, it's the same exact thing for raids. You can actually join what's known as looking for raid versions of raids these days, and these are essentially the story mode versions of raids where people can just join together and find random groups through the matchmaking system to do the content just for storyline purposes. You're not going to get the rewards of heroic and mythical, but you do get the benefit of going and doing it for the story. The reason I want to show you this is because it's the same drop down, and you're going to notice here though that there's a couple of these that are grayed out to me, and the reason they're grayed out to me is because I don't currently have the current gear requirements to be able to queue up for those dungeons. Now, the caveat here is that there are gear level ratings for everything. That's the current content, by the way, and I haven't gotten through the current patch content. I just got the Emerald Dream, which is current as of this recording. I just got there yesterday with this character, so I haven't gotten my gear to that level. My gear currently, the gear level that I have, is 408. So the minimum to get into the normal heroic content and the looking for raid content, I believe, is 402, and so that'll be, grayed out to you, and it'll tell you what your requirement is. So in this case, it tells me, hey, you need a higher average item level. You're currently at 408. You need 424 to even get into this content. You'll notice that when you're first leveling up through this, you're not going to have access to any of the heroic versions until you've leveled up, started to get gear from the dungeons, the normal dungeons, gone into some of the patch content, gotten the higher level quality of gear. So you will be relegated to only doing the normal dungeons. So when you do the drop down in the dungeon finder, what you're going to find is that all the heroics are going to be either missing or grayed out. And out of all of these options, you might only have 3 or 4 available to you when you're level 60. But as you level up, you'll get more access to this. Same thing for whatever expansion pack you're running for the time walking campaigns. It's going to show you for your level bracket and expansion, so you might only see a couple of options in the beginning, or they might be grayed out to you until you've met those minimum requirements. But once you see the ones you have a few options here. You could just queue to do a random dungeon if your only objective is just to do dailies and just go to get XP and gear grind, and you just want to do these. That's great for the people who just want to do dungeons in like 15 to 30 minutes or less. You're just queuing up with random people and you're doing random dungeons. You can do the same thing for random heroics. However, if you want to do specific dungeons because you have quests for those dungeons, that's how you can use this system. You just click on one of the specific dungeons, choose whatever role you want to play, go from there. Now, roles are also important. At the top here, you're going to be asked to choose your role. For most characters, it's going to be 1 or 2. Occasionally, if it's like a druid, you might see 3. Are you a tank? Are you a healer? Are you a DPS? I'm only a DPS because I'm a hunter, so that's the only option available to me. So that's super easy for me. Beyond that point, quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. you've clicked your dungeon, you click find a group, and it'll put you into the matchmaking system. I've never seen the matchmaking system require more than 5 to 10 minutes. For current level content, it's usually less than that. Older level content, it's taken me about 10 minutes a couple of times if I'm running like a time walking campaign. But for current level stuff, it's usually really quick. I would argue that most times it's like 2 to 3 minutes tops. It finds people really quick. I've had it pop as quickly as like 15, 20 seconds as soon as I click it. So I usually make sure, hey, go bio and everything else before you're ready to go. The other caveat to this, if you're a new player like I am and you're coming in and you're using the dungeon finder, you're using the matchmaker, no one knows that you're a new player. So most people who are using this are there to do dailies, and they're going to be running that dungeon as quickly as possible, and they've done it 100 times before, and they know it like the back of their hand. You have to make it known that you are a new player, either in text chat or if you're using voice chat for the open world voice chat that they have in the game, or if you're, however you're choosing to communicate with people, let them know that you're a new player. I have found that 9 times out of 10, if you tell people, hey, I'm new, I've never done this before, I need a couple of quest objectives, etc., 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 the groups will generally slow down. I had a couple of times where as soon as I said that, the tank or somebody would just leave the group because they have no desire to be hand-holding anybody. But I found 9 times out of 10, as long as you say something, excuse me, the people are very helpful and very glad to be there to show you a new player because they want to share that experience with you. So just say something. If you don't say anything, people are going to rush through and you might find yourself going, this matchmaking system sucks, no one's paying attention to me, blah, 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 blah. Well, that's on you for not saying something because they have no way of knowing that you're a new player. So make sure to speak up and let them know. And like I said, the vast majority of my experiences have been people who are willing to slow down and help you out. Now, there's one more way to use the dungeon finder here, and that's if you want to get with your friends and you want to just teleport into a dungeon. Now, normally the way you do this is that all of you or one or two of you would go to a dungeon entrance. If it was just a couple of you, you'd use the summoning stone to summon the rest of your group there, and you would all walk into the dungeon entrance together. That's the classic way of doing things. And you could still do that, by the way. The limitation on the dungeon finder that I talked about at the earlier in the video where I said it's locked to current content or whatever is your level bracket or expansion that you're doing, that's only if you're using the system. Your group can go to any dungeon entrance in the game and run content as they want, entering the dungeon entrance. The limitation to what dungeons you can run is only through this system. This system finds you a group and teleports you to the dungeon entrance. So if you were getting together with 5 of your guildmates, you would just literally get all together, click the dungeon that you want to do here, click the join group, and it's going to put you into the matchmaking system even though you already have a full group. It'll ask you to select your roles, and then it'll transport you into the dungeon. You'll run it, and then when you're done, it'll port you out, and you can move on to do the next one. Or if it's just 3 of you, it'll look for a couple of extra people who fit the roles that you need. You can go in and do it that way. But again, the limitation on which dungeons you can do. Welcome to the channel, Roger Cross. I love my notifications, and I always forget to turn them off when I'm recording versus streaming. But anyway, multi-streaming happens daily on Twitch and YouTube. Don't forget to check it all out. We'll have more commercials at the end of the video. Full groups can use this. Multiple, teams of 2, teams of 3, anybody can use it. It's the same thing for the raid system, so just do the raid finder. If you have your whole raid already together, however many people you have, you can queue in and go from there. It's a great system. It's scalable, to current content. So this is a really easy tool to use if you're new and you're just getting going and you're wanting to do dungeons for the story that you're doing, or if you just want a quick and easy way to go do dungeons with your guild without needing to travel all over the world and do stuff. But again, the limitation is current content only or your level bracket / expansion that you're in. So hopefully that gives you a quick and easy rundown on the dungeon finder system or matchmaking system in World of Warcraft, also called Looking for Dungeon. Some people call it this. If you found this guide useful, do me a solid and like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon here on YouTube so that you never miss an update. My full-time job is YouTube content creation, and I survive thanks to the support of all the members, so thanks very much. But we are multi-streaming these days on Twitch as well, so anytime we're live, 5:30 in the morning, 8 o'clock at night Central Time, you'll find us in both places, but the bulk of the content and guides that I produce are here on YouTube. Check out the Discord. There's lots of other things I do here, so look at all the playlists. Check out the playlist for World of Warcraft down below. Hopefully I'll see everybody in the next one. If you want to come join us, don't forget we're on the Moonguard server. Just ping me in Discord, ask for an invite. We'll get you in. You can fill out an app. We'll see you in game. Stay safe, everybody.